You are so annoyed by your in-laws. You think you got the worst. You do not. Rather than just tell you about the worst mother-in-law of all time, because we think we have found her. Davi has found her. If you have an example of what makes your mother or your father-in-law the worst, call us right now, 1-855-BERT Show, and tell us your story. And before even Davi tells us what that story is, we'll tell you if yours is worse than Davi's. Do you guys know which one it is? Oh,
Nope.
Oh, this is going to be
I
good.
purposely avoided this because I wanted to hear it here first.
This is, it's so bad. This is one of those stories where I'm like, can this be real? No one is this terrible.
I don't know. It's on a Reddit Beyond the Bump thread. So I guess women go there and share their stories of after birth, after labor and everything, everything that goes down. So you have your, pregnancy issues, Reddit, and then this is Beyond the Bump, afterwards and all the shenanigans you have to deal with.
All right, you got to give us a specific example of what makes your mother-in-law or your father-in-law the worst. And then we will tell you if your story is worse than the one that Davi's about to tell. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning. So to top it off, I have 3 mother-in-laws, and all 3 of them hate me. One of them told my husband to take our daughter and leave after I had her, and then 3 of them routinely tell him he married wrong.
How do you have 3 mother-in-laws?
Lesbian.
Got it.
And
Okay.
then they split up, and then the other one got back together with another one. It's confusing.
Whoa. Okay. Whoa.
Priceless.
So specifically, the worst one did what? If you were going to go ahead and nominate one, what's the worst thing they've done?
I would honestly say it's just the repeated telling my husband he married wrong, because after we got together, I got diagnosed bipolar.
Okay.
So, yeah, they hate me.
Okay. All right. Hey, I don't want to disrespect the bipolar thing and all. It's not as bad as Davi's story, though. All right, hang with us for a second.
Yeah, planting those verbal seeds, it does suck, but this story's worse.
Woo! These aren't even in the same zip code.
No.
Okay. Good morning, Bree. You were on the Bert Show. Worst mother-in-law nomination.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
My mother-in-law has been, well, there's a million things, but the top one has been cheating on her spouse of 6+ years with numerous people, more than I can even count, and is very vocal about it, and is blackmailing myself and her son to not tell her spouse.
Oh, a real-life blackmail story. This is good. So what is she blackmailing you with?
Well, she can't say because then she's going to.
I guess not.
Let's say, maybe blackmail too harsh. There's been some very serious threats, let's say. So if word gets out, Child Protective Services would be called.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Threatened, elder abuse.
Yeah, that's pretty evil. That's pretty bad.
There's no case for any of it, so there's really no concern, but it's just very frustrating to have to deal with that. And we've attempted to cut her out of our life as much as we can, but she finds some snake-like way to get back in, and it's just poison.
She's awful.
Yeah.
She's awful. Davi, is it as bad as the woman you're going to tell us
It's
about?
close. I think anytime the law's involved, it's pretty bad.
Good morning, Bert Show. Who is this?
This is Pamela.
All right, Pamela. Go ahead, make a nomination here for worst in-law ever, even though I think it's a losing battle.
It probably is. Well, I'm black and my husband is Mexican, and we had children before we got married. And so his mother did not like me for, I don't know why. And so she spread rumors and told the whole family that if he had kids with me, that they would come out looking like monkeys.
Okay, racism.
And
That's right
then-
up there.
Yep.
That's a no-no.
Yeah, it was an interesting battle. And then after that, we did get married. Of course, she has other grandchildren, but she would take toys away from my kids because she didn't want them to play with them, or she'd never buy them anything. So we haven't seen her in about 5 years.
She's real bad.
Wow.
That's real bad. Racism puts you right up to the top of the list there.
100%.
Especially racism towards your own grandkids.
Yeah.
Monkeys?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. Wasn't expecting one that strong.
That's
That's
bad.
pretty
Do this
strong.
every time.
Yeah.
I still think the story Davi's going to tell you is even worse than
I'm not
that.
going to say that it's worse.
Okay, I'm invested now.
And I'm not going to say that it's worse. I'm not going to be the one because that is a terrible mother-in-law. I hope she's a Bert
is.
Show listener, you terrible person.
Katie, good morning. You are on the Bert Show. Hi.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. All right, make a nomination here. And the next one, Davi is going to tell you who really is the worst mother-in-law ever.
All right. So my ex-husband's dad had a girlfriend, and she wanted us to have our kids call her Mama. And my feeling was both of their biological grandmothers were passed. And I said no, because that's not their grandma. And my ex-father-in-law went as far as to say that if we didn't have our kids call her Mama, that he would write my husband out of his will.
Just yikes. That's bad.
Evil, man.
Nasty. Nasty.
Old man
nasty.
Brad.
All right, Davi, you want to go for it here?
Okay, this is Beyond the Bump Reddit. I made a throwaway account so my husband wouldn't be able to find this because he knows my other username. So there's the little backstory here. My husband is an only child. His mother has always been very, very involved. We got along, and she's always sort of crossed some lines. She has a key to our house for emergency purposes, but only because she lives 4 blocks away. I had her daughter 4 weeks ago. She's been over at least 3 times, my mother-in-law, at least 3 times every week since I had her. She always tells me what I'm doing wrong and how she'd do things differently. The baby is up every 2 hours at night because she's 4 weeks old, but my mother-in-law insists that she would sleep through the night if she could just stay at Grammy's house.
All right, doesn't make her the worst yet, though. In fact, this is pretty fairly common.
Yep.
You got grandma who's done it before. I can do it better than you. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but you're not doing it right.
I know everything.
I know everything.
Yes.
This is not so uncommon.
It's my legacy to tell you what to do in life. That's how she
I'm
feels.
just trying to help. Shut up.
So she says she'll sleep through the night if she would stay at Grammy's house. So I told her I'm not comfortable sending a breastfeeding baby away overnight after just 4 weeks.
It's a little early for slumber
A
parties.
little bit. So mom said that last week she kept pushing the issue no matter how many times I said no, like it had reached a fever pitch. So last night we put the baby in her crib. We stopped room sharing with her because, she got loud. So we put her down the hallway, put her in her crib. She goes to sleep, and my husband and I go to bed. My husband fell asleep early. I dozed off a little bit later. I woke up 4 hours later and started to panic because my daughter hadn't made any noise. There's no way I could sleep for 4 hours. She wakes up every 2.
Now, you've got to understand this as a new parent. You hear every noise in the other room. Every little thing wakes you up. So from time to time, you're startled like, man, I've been sleeping for 2-3 hours and I haven't heard anything. So you generally run into the room.
Yep.
And then I used to look at my kids' ribs just to make sure they were going up and down and up and down, right?
Yep. She says she woke up in a panic, sat straight up, was sure that her baby had passed, and she went running into the room, and the baby was gone. There's nothing in the crib. There's no one in the room. The baby is missing. I froze. I started screaming her name. I ran around the house. My husband woke up. I kept thinking she's going to pop out. This is some kind of joke. How'd she get out of her crib? My husband finally wakes up in a panic, and I scream, "What's going on?" over and over. I run to my phone to call 911 because it's on the charger next to her husband in bed. She runs to her phone to call 911, and she has a picture text message from her mother-in-law of a sleeping baby, selfie. Mother-in-law, sleeping baby in her arms. It said, "Sleep over at Gam Gam's."
She came in and
kidnapped the
kidnapped the baby.
Kidnapped her grandkid,
Are you
man.
serious?
Yes.
I would press charges.
She said, I was immediately enraged. I screamed so hard I nearly vomited on the carpet. I called her up and I saw red. I don't really know what I said, but my husband said I told her I was coming to get the baby and she would never see her again and to never contact our family ever again. My husband decided it was best if he went to get her. So when he came back, he said that his mother decides to let herself in. She decided to let herself in to, quote, give us a break. That she wasn't sure that she said, I thought you would hear the text message immediately and wake up. What? And I thought you would be thanking me for a full night's sleep. That's what she had her husband reiterate to the wife. Now the wife says, I don't give an F. I hate her. I can't forgive her for this. My husband thinks I need to calm down, that we just need to get our key back. His lack of urgency about the situation makes me want to divorce him. We have never had any issues before this, but it feels like a deal breaker to me. I already had PPA and now it's through the roof. I'm not sure what that is.
Postpartum.
There we go. Now it's through the
What?
roof.
Y'all didn't finish it.
Anxiety.
Okay.
Anxiety.
Postpartum anxiety, and now it's through the roof. I don't feel safe in my own home. I don't feel safe with my own family. I hate my mother-in-law. I hate my husband. When I think about what happened, I sob uncontrollably. I can't sleep now because I know that I can't protect my baby when I'm asleep. I can't believe that I didn't wake up in that moment and hear anything. I feel like the biggest piece of crap mother, and if any danger really came about my daughter, I would want to die. Am I overreacting for wanting to divorce my husband and never see my mother-in-law again?
Then there's one last thing.
My husband and mother-in-law think it's my hormones. They say it's my hormones that's making me overreact, but I want to know, Internet, am I overreacting?
And mom gave her formula also.
And
What?
yes, and there's the little PPS.
Yeah.
She's like, she also fed her formula while she was with her and says that's the least of my worries. It still infuriates me because she knows that breastfeeding has been really difficult for us.
I want to punch her.
Worst.
So many layers.
Wow.
Worst.
The Bert Show.